What's up with everybody? Hi, Mama. Yeah, Mama's missing a cat. One of the cats has got out, and Mama's pretty worried about it. She'll be okay, but she's never been outside, so one of her indoor cats made the great escape. What's up, Chris? Michael, what's up? Tyler, Aaron. Good to see all you guys that I've seen this weekend. Good racing, a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people down there at PT's. So that's where we went. We'll talk about it here in a minute. As always, we'll get going with the attendance here real quick. Just trying to get a feel of what's going on. Guys, I think, what's up, Josh Alvey? Seen you were up at Limestone Chi-Town Shootout. Congratulations up there. Good racing up there, it looked like. Good number. So, a little high bite action. What's up? Kevin Smith, Marshall Tony. Yeah, I did some marshalling this weekend. That's what I do, buddy. Ain't nothing to do. Jump out there. Busy weekend for me, guys, and a busy week this week, I think, for me. Those of you that are on my personal page, I just put a thing out. I will be live a lot this week. If you see it come across during the week, unless it's... Yeah, we got a basketball game every day next week almost. So we might do a special edition on Wednesday is the only day I don't have a basketball game. So I might have to do a special edition, in my opinion, on Wednesday, or we'll wait till Sunday. We'll see. We'll see what's up with that. So, what is that? So, yeah. Hey, IT department, we're live now. You should have done that work earlier. We're getting things done. It's like I say, it's been a really good week. We'll get into some of the normal. Let's get attendance real quick rolling. Go Fast. They did a Thursday deal, 18 and a 25. Thunderdome. They were out there racing this week on the high banks. 22 and a 31. These IT is rough. Limestone had their big race, 60 and a 124. That is the Chi-Town Shootout. Good turnout up there for those guys. Congratulations. Brickhouse, 33 and a 57. Hoosier Hobbies had a race. I think that was last night or today. 37 and a 64. Then let's see, High Side. They went 18 and a 35. RC Underground. They moved that one. We talked about it last week. They put it in the basement. What's up, Dave? Good to see you on here, buddy. 14 and a 42. So that's good. Guys, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Daredevil Indoor 32 and a 68. 608, they got the 1RC rolling out as always up there, 29 and a 72. 335 and a 676 on car count for this weekend on the tracks I cover, guys. If there's tracks you guys want, send me a private message with a track you want me to cover, and I'll cover it weekly for you. Guys, as we know, Dave moved. We've talked about this before. Dave set it up. They set it up with Junkyard Joe up there at a warehouse and got that taken care of. Looks like they had a pretty good turnout. They're working through it. It sounds like there's another location they're trying to get worked out. If that all works out for them, I'm sure Dave will put posts out about that and get that done. But as a friend of Dave's, a guy that supports Dave, I say thank you to everybody that jumped in that deal, went out there to a different location, maybe not normal to most, and made it happen. And thank you, Joe, for making that happen for Dave to keep his series rolling. It's been a long time rolling with that, and he wanted to keep it going. So, oh, you're staying there. Okay. Good deal. So that's Dave just put in the comments. Great first race at the RC Warehouse, and we are staying there. So, hey, that works. Sometimes you got to make adjustments on the fly, just like everywhere else. And Dave's a hell of a promoter, and will handle that. So, good job up there, guys. just real quick, kind of refreshing on last week, guys. Partners, sponsors, supporters, however you want to put that. They're all different meanings, but they're all the same meaning at the same time. If you have a guy, will be info this week. Okay, yeah, he's gonna put some stuff out this week. Love you, Mama. So there is, if you have somebody that you support or supports you in what you're doing, you should reciprocate that. That's part of the reason why I go to a lot of tracks I go to. I have people that support me and help me at the track and help me through the season. Therefore, I go support them at the track, hang out, bullshit, help where I can, do that kind of thing. If you do not support the people that support you, and however that is, if you'll notice, Three Joys, I post a lot of her stuff up there to get things done. If J.W. Morris can remodeling, if he does anything, I will put it up there. You know what I mean? Like, I'll put up that he's looking or needs, he's got a deal going, whatever that is, because they support me. If a person supports you, you should go support them. I personally know of guys that have people supporting them for years now. Year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, and they've never been to one of their races. They've never been to one of their tracks. Or they've been there once and said, oh, that's good enough. But these other people help them all the time, or go support them. So don't be that dumbass, all right? What's up, Sean? While we have everybody on here, let me get this up real quick. Guys, here is another public service announcement. It's changed a little bit from last week, but there it is. So this is Bill. Bill's changed a little bit. He had a little bit of a rough week, but he still pays his bills. And be like Bill. Pay your bills, okay? Bill's just a little different. That's it. All right? That will be coming up for a while, guys. You guys are going to see that graphic a lot because of that, okay? Enjoying the In My Opinion podcast while finishing up the Elite Series episode post 6 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, guys, that's going to be a big one. Dave, I'm glad you're on here, and I'm glad you put that out there. If you guys haven't seen the preview, here's what's up with that. Dave and TJ sat down with Kevin McNatt, who was the promoter, as we know of right now, still is the promoter. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow at 6 a.m. of the Elite Series. There's a lot of stuff, and if you've been in this show, once we get to the deep end of the pool, you'll know, you've heard, you've seen, we've talked about the Elite Series and what's going on. So you get to hear another side of it. You get to hear from Kevin McNatt, and then you also get to hear from TJ. A lot of people have called TJ a co-promoter. I don't know if how do I put this? I can say I believe that, but I don't know if that's official, and I'm sure we'll figure out more and more on Monday. So this is what I say, guys. 6 a.m. tomorrow, set your alarm about 5:45 or 5:30. Get up, take you a shower. When that baby drops at 6 a.m., jump on there. Let's blow it up. And see what they got to say. Make it water cooler talk in the morning. I don't know what's on there. Yes, I work with Dave. We work very closely. I don't know what's on there. I'm going to wait just like you guys are. And I'm going to listen to it just like you guys do. But we're going to hear another side of it, and there's going to be another opinion. I I don't know how much that's going to sway other people's opinion, and it is what it is. Whatever happens, happens. We'll roll with it, and and we'll discuss it. I'm sure we'll discuss it again. Okay? But that's coming. 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Let's rip. Get on there, listen to that deal, see what everybody's doing, see what they're talking about, and see what their side of it is, and we'll roll from there. I don't have a problem. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm just hating on the fact that bills aren't paid. Okay? That's my hate. All right, let's see. What are we going to do? Races this week. Tony been like assholes. Everyone has one. Some people. Yeah. Dustin Cooper says, Tony, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and some people are one. Yes. Yep, I have mine. We listen to it every week. And you have yours, or the people on here have theirs. Therefore, we listen to them too. All right, guys, let's get into what's going on this week. Brick House, they have their race coming up this week. Battle of the Bull Rings, the 29th. Make sure you guys, if you're in that area and that's what you're into, make sure you get over to Brick House, get that done. They'll be, I'm sure there'll be a good competition over there. Next, we have the Thunderdome. They're kicking off one for the Thanksgiving Nationals, they're calling it. It'll be a 250-lap NASCAR Cup and a 150-lap NASCAR Busch main events. So on the mains, I think live Tony and Dave show after tomorrow night. Let's do it. Probably Wednesday, Dave, but we'll talk about it, okay? But yes, we'll do it live. I don't give a shit. You know me, buddy. I talk what I talk. 8 a.m., racing at 11. That'll be a big one, guys. So if you guys have a NASCAR or a Busch, well, their Busch is just the NASCAR lower levels. If you guys want to get in on that deal, make sure you guys do. Support those guys up there. I told you guys early on, I want that really to succeed, and I do. But we will not be there. The reason we will not be there is we will be at this race here. We will be in playing basketball, and then we will be at the prelude to the Rumble. I just got a message. I assume that they are doing a live of some sort right now. While we're on here, they are doing a live for that, maybe. I don't know. I just got a message that they were live. It looks like Zach was live, so... check that out too, see what they have to say about the Rumble. But here's where we're at on this. The Rumble is this weekend. Sign-ups are full, obviously. I just actually talked to Zach. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit today. So that thing's going to be good. It'll work out, guys. Those guys can put on a show. It's just going to be a lot of cars. So make sure you guys do that. Get over to his page. Look up, I assume it's on the Rumble, on the Rumble at the Rocks page. They are live. I'm not sure of that, but we'll check it out. We'll send a link over to it, okay? That's this week. Kim to Speedway, there's our schedule, guys. Just a reminder of that. And our first race, which is a long way off, but here it is. Those of you that weren't here last week can see it. Here is going to be our first race, guys. If you can't have fun racing RC cars, get the hell out of here. We're having a shit show race. First race of every year is always a shit show, and we're gonna put it out there. It is what it is. We're gonna enjoy our time racing with our buddies and having a good time. Guys, we went down to PT's this weekend after we're done with all that mess. We went down to PT's this weekend, hung out, me and the wife, and they had 158, I think it was, or something like that. Huge number car for a club race, and I've seen a lot of guys that weren't there. So. Still, huge number. Paul said in the driver's meeting, he goes, guys, we really need to remember that it is competitive. It is racing. We are all racers, but we also need to make sure we have fun, right? We have to enjoy the time hanging out with our buddies and racing. I know I got a little hairy at PT's later in the night. Last night, But hey, man, that happens. Racing's racing. It's good. You know what I mean? It'll bring us into a little bit of our talking about how tracks are set up tonight, how tracks run, and what the dirt on dirt racing means. You know, we did, guys. Today I went right back down to Bloomington, and we did have a meeting with track owners. Some of the track owners, we did not include every track owner, and the reason why is we're trying to get just a little bitty group here together that's close enough that we really affect each other with rules and packages. And when we did that, there are some tracks that might have got left out. We don't mean that in a negative way. What we mean that in is we have to start somewhere. And if we have the 10 or 12 or 14 tracks in the area involved in that, I think it would be way too much, okay? And we just sat down and talked rules and talked about scheduling and how scheduling works, why we do what we do, why some track owners choose to schedule on certain days, why they, how it all happens. And a lot of it was explaining stuff to me that I didn't understand as much, and maybe others didn't either, but it was good to talk about it. You know, like the 13.5 sprint, we are going to change that rule. The crate, we call it crate late model. Crate late model, we are changing back to a 13.5 this year. As a group, we decided that 13.5 is where it is, and not 10.5. I know a lot of guys are going to go, damn, that's that, but here's why. And we're going to put a tow rule on it, and we're going to put the wing rule on it like everybody else has. The positive side to it is I'm having rear spoilers built that will be 1 inch off the deck, standard height. Then you'll add the other piece to the top of it. They will be built by race season, okay? So just make it easier for guys, and that's the only reason. There's nobody that's listening to this podcast right now that cannot cut a spoiler down. I understand that. But the fact that you buy one and you have to cut it down is irritating. So I am working with Orca Cuts up in Wisconsin, and he is going to build me some spoilers that are 1 inch off the deck without it, and then the adjustable part on the top will then become your 2 inch spoiler like the GFRP one is, okay? So you'll just have to unbolt it. You'll get your 1 inch spoiler, and then you'll bolt it back on to get your mod spoiler, okay? That's the only difference. But we're going to do that. I think that's really good because then it keeps everybody consistent. I spoke of doing a handout for that class. After talking to more and more guys, I think the problem with the handout is racers. Guys will burn them up. You know what I mean? Guys will race them hard. They'll gear the shit out of them. Then you got to put a gear rule on it. And then you got to, so it just becomes more of a hassle. Just go to the 13.5 just stock, just like everybody else, and run that way. Okay? GFRP makes a nice spoiler. Yes, they do, Dennis. The problem is it's not tall enough. If you take the bottom half off, it is not tall enough. You have to cut a new spoiler down for a 1 inch 13.5. From what I'm told. Okay? So that's going to happen in ours. The only other rule that we're going to change is a tire rule. We will have 3 tires next year. We've talked about that a bunch. We're not getting in tire turmoil. We sat there for half an hour today, 45 minutes, talking about tires. We were deep in the middle of tire turmoil. So we've had enough of that today. We're going to move on from that. But we will have a 3-tire rule. It will be 3 tires that are very common in the area. So therefore, a guy comes in and won't have to buy a bunch of tires. And from class to class, you won't have to buy tires. Okay? The other thing is the 13.5 Sprint, we will go to a roar motor in that. Okay? So 13.5 Sprint at our track will no longer be just stock. It will be a roar approved motor. 13.5 Sprint roar approved. That will be changed. It isn't changed yet. You guys are hearing it first. Maybe second. We talked about it today. Excuse me. Guys, I think it was a huge step forward for the group of tracks to get together to talk about it. And that's what we need more of. Tracks that were not included today. Don't feel left out. If you want involved in it, contact us. Contact me. Myself and Brogan, we are the two that kind of got it going. I had talked about it on here a bunch, and Brogan said, "Are we doing this or are we talking about it?" And I'm like, "Fuck you, Brogan. We're doing it." So, no clown tires on the 13.5 Sprint, Josh. Nope, no clown tires here. Solid call on the 13.5. Yeah, and we'll talk about that just a little bit more here in just a second, Kevin. And then what about you? ESC will be the package. Blinky. I think it might be open, Blink. I think it might be open. Excuse me. Make the same changes Roar for the Sprint. Most of them are Roar, Mike. So Mike's asking, will the quote-unquote other tracks be making the same changes to Roar 13.5 and the Sprint? Yes, most will. Most of them already are. That's why I've changed that way. Okay? I think at the table, I was the only one that was not Roar approved 13.5 in the Sprint. So I think I was the only one with the just stock 13.5. So I think that's the best thing. Guys, the reason we went backwards, the reason I went backwards is this. I love the way the 10.5 runs at my track. But here's the problem. It was only like a tenth off at the Fall Brawl with the same guy driving both cars. So that hurts, right? That class is made, we're going to put tow rule on it, we're going to drop spoiler, and we're going to go 13.5. And I have something for you guys in 13.5 for that. We're working on that too. It'll come out later. But 0 and 3, we're going to do that rule. And then we're going to do, we're really trying to slow it down. We're trying not to let it get out of hand like the Sprint car did. My opinion, the 13.5 Sprint, and I asked today, guys, is there any way we can slow the 13.5 Sprint down a little bit? Or what we're going to call the 360 Sprint. Is there any way we can slow that down some? And the general consensus was it's hard to go backwards. So we don't want the crate late model to get as fast as the mod late model, or why have it? It really needs to be, as I've talked about on here millions of times, a stepping stone class. We need to be able to have buggy street stock. You go into crate late model. It's not as fast. You have to work on it a little bit more instead of using rear toe to fix your drivability problems. You have to be able to adjust the chassis a little bit better. Excuse me. So with that being said, we need to get, that's why we are kind of stepping back here to the 13.5. Okay? It will be a little bit slower. It should be a little bit slower. Kudos for you guys making changes in November rather than say 2 weeks before this outdoor starts. Yes, and we will get together again as a group. Thanks, Ryan, for that. We will get together again in before the season starts to make sure everything's kind of in order. I think the 5 that were there, and anybody else that wants to jump on and kind of follow, there's not that much change in ruling, honestly. It's more about how we're going to police it, how we're going to take care of it. Nobody wants to fuck with tech, but we all have to. And how we keep guys honest with it. But yes, it's good to start now. It's good to start and keep moving forward instead of stopping. Mark Larson, I like it when you can go to all the tracks with the same rules. It makes it easier. 100%, Mark. And here's another thing that makes it easier for, if, say, I go somewhere and somebody has a question about the track rules, it's the same as my track, right? Or God forbid something happens and I need to help with something at a track that's not mine, or Brad stops by and he needs to help with something, or Matt, or whoever, or anybody, whoever. We can all be close. You know what I mean? There's tracks that are farther away from us that weren't involved in this, but they can be. They just have to decide if they want to jump in or not. Tony, you expect racers to be honest? Listen to Dinner with Racers podcast. Most people in big time racing got into it through a lie and some bullshit. I'm not, Dustin, here's what it is. I understand that there's a lot of people that are bullshitters and assholes and whatever, but here's the real reality of it is, if you're not a good person and you come here and cheat, which you can come and do it and probably get away with it here and there, but if I catch you, that's another side of me you don't want to see. You've never seen me in that side, Dustin, and I promise you, you don't want to see that side of me. I'll take every bit of your shit and throw it in the street, and you'll go home and never be back. You know what I mean? We had a guy here. He ain't been back. We had a guy come do that. He hasn't been back. So, I know I mean, if you want to push buttons tonight with me already, that's fine. We can do that. I don't care. This is not big car racing. This is not big car racing. We're playing with toy cars that are relatively inexpensive. And if you come here and you're not a good person, you probably won't be back. I don't need your money. I'm not a promoter that has to have your cash. I don't have to have your $20 to race here. If you come here and you want to be the dick, I'm just saying. No, it's just always a common theme in racing. Well, fucking change it. It doesn't have to be the common theme in racing. You know, the common theme in my industry is fix half the fucking car and then let it go down the street and let the next guy worry about it. That shit don't happen in my shop. Not with me. I'm not a common theme guy. So... Oh, we're just talking about people not being honest in racing, and that's the whole problem. And I'm saying you need to change it, Sam. Don't follow the leader. Be better. So, yeah, I don't have, that's it. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of people on here right now. There's 37, which is a lot. Scuba says, not fire me up. It's too late, probably. Carson says, cheaters. This is what I'm pissed about. Tommy says, I beg to differ, Dustin, on this. Spending most of my life running it with big cars. Dustin says, I agree with you. Talked to a guy last night who has 120K worth of shocks. That was bitching about the cost. How do you control it? Everyone wants to, but nobody will do it. How do you control what? Cheating? Some tracks that run just stock combos will not run Roar Blinky. So tracks that run just stock combos will not run Roar 13.5 Blinky. On the buggy street stock, Dennis, if that's where you're going, I think most of the tracks in our area are going to go to the 13.5 Roar Blinky ESC. Now, we all understand just stock with an update doesn't blink. That's something we're going to have to figure out in the end. Um, I've met great people through racing and also some of the biggest assholes on the planet. Yes, they're everywhere, Dustin. Mark says, if you have to cheat to win, you suck. Agreed, Mark. It's fucking toy cars. Dustin, control the cheating and cost. The Just Stock has done to control the cost. Yes, Just Stock has done that to control the cost. Honestly, the cheating, the cheating part of it is on the racer. Honestly, and promoters. Guys, our job is to catch a cheater, honestly, as tech, and your job is to live in the gray area, not in the black. You know what I mean? Like, if the white area is the good and the black area is the bad, you guys should live in the middle. Kevin Smith says, I can vouch. I left a career in big car racing because I was asked to cheat. I don't disagree with that, but it doesn't have to be the norm, especially in this. And guys, believe me, I'm a racer too. I might not race this. I've raced shit, and I sit and think about how to do it, how to make it different, how to make it in that gray area. We talk about it all the time. Be in the gray area. I don't care about the gray area. But if you're cheating up at 13.5, okay, if you're running a 13.5 Just Stock because that's what we're running because of cost, you guys are going to run into two options. At some point, people are going to say, fuck the Just Stock, and you guys to race are going to pay more money to run Roar or run some other combo because you are starting to cheat up the Just Stock too much because we're trying to keep the cost down for you by running the Just Stock. So that's what's going to happen is if people really believe that Just Stocks are getting cheated up, they're going to go away from them. And then you're going to be buying Roar shit, which is a little more expensive. The other side of it is most guys that are cheating that shit up, they don't need no more power. You know what I mean? They don't need any more power. Because their car's probably not set up to drive good enough to handle the 13.5. Hell, they probably don't even have enough to handle a 17.5 Just Stock. But they want more motor because they think that's a fix. And maybe they just have a problem with their tires and they got them on wrong. Or, maybe they got a little bit too much power. You never know. But hey, that's the thing. If your car's set up better, you'll probably be faster anyway without a cheated up motor. Kevin Smith says, Dustin says, Kevin, was it tires? Kevin says, no, it wasn't tires. It was a career decision with the National Series. And tires is child's play where I was. That's grassroots. RC Underground Radio says, or the RC Underground says, rule maker, not rule breaker. Play in the gray area. And that's where it is. Aaron says if there's rules, the track should stick to it and not have the rule or rules only hurt honest drivers. If a track won't tech, then the rules are set. They set. Agreed. Aaron, the problem is getting people to do that. You know what I mean? Is getting a tech. That's hard to do, but I think it's going to come around more and more. Then it says when you go to a track and it's obviously cheating is going on and nothing is done, then guys quit going there. Yeah, 100%. All I can say, Dennis, to that is I would recommend going to your track owner, and I think the conversation we have you understand this, but I would recommend going to your track owner and saying, hey, I think this is a problem. I'll be teched any day of the week, but we need to tech all of us and make sure we're all right. You know what I mean? Already, Aaron says, already placed selling cheated up and post them on sites, and no, it's not going to, yeah, exactly, Aaron, and it's not going to pass tech. But here's the problem, guys. Everybody wants out of here early. Everybody wants to come in, race, have a great time, go home at 10 o'clock. If we're going to tech everything, you're going to be a longer day. Just, it's a reality of it. Dustin says, Roar is a whole nother bag of worms. That list changes every day, it seems. Just because you have something on the list doesn't mean it'll pass tech. Call Paul at Motive and you don't blame me. I understand that, Dustin, but I feel like that's everywhere. My challenge to you is, how about if you come up with a better system and a way to make sure all these motors are perfect, and then we'll run your motors. How's that? Chris says, I'm not a great tuner. That's my problem. Chris, don't feel bad. 90% of us, that's our problem. Aaron says, new non-epoxy roars will be a difference from previous gen epoxy motors. We'll see. I mean, that's, let's see what the author, oh man. Dude, it said see more there, Sam, a.k.a. the author, and I clicked it, and it had like 2 more lines. Fucking amazing. If you're going to have a spec class, here, only one fairway, handout motors. We just talked about that, and the problem is the cost, and you're going to have a gear number also, max, or you're going to get them burn up. 100%. Okay? Man, that was a fucking tangent. Way to go, guys. Way to get me fired up early. Let's go over here. Let's do question of the week. Jake Howard puts this one out. Why do people keep racing by laps but still setting the mains by IFMAR? Let me get back to comments here real quick, and then we'll go on that one. Think about that a minute while I'm over here. They're going to be as fast as mod times. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to keep that down because we need a stepping stone, Chris, honestly. Tommy says, Dustin, I think some dirt oval type organizations or track owners should decide on 4 timing adjustment motors. Sucks as an exalt. Motive widths and R1. This way, we're not dealing with Roar, and maybe at the end, maybe in the hobby wing monopoly. Tommy, I don't disagree with that. If we can figure something out and we can keep the costs relatively close, right? What's up, Dana? Good to hear you on here, buddy. I know you're on here some, but it's good to hear you posting. First time putting a comment in. Coming from a guy who spent most of his career racing spec, there's no solution. It's always going to be this conversation. Once a rule is changed to make it more equal, the next worm comes out and starts it all over again. 100%, Anthony. That is what we fight. You know what I mean? And as track owners, promoters, we hate it. But what are you going to do? Dave's RC Underground. Dave says, "Been there, done that. Cream still goes to the top. People bump them up. Motor donors and voltmeters. Yeah, there is plenty. There's plenty of that." Dank says you can do a handout. If the racer burns the motor up, he has to buy another one. That works. I understand that. That would be another option. Oh, motor dyno? Yeah. Motor dyno and voltmeters. Yeah, that's I don't know, man. That's something that's going to have to be played with in the future, I think. Aaron says 10.5 just stock fast guys are half a second off top outlaw late model guys at the Crater. Aaron, here for the Fall Brawl, I want to say we were a 10th off. But we have to lift more. We're not just a pennant to win it. We really have to lift and get through the corners here at Kempton Speedway. But we were a 10th difference. A mod to Crate Late, I believe. Sam says, Dank, that's a great idea till you get someone who refuses to pay the bill, stating a faulty motor, then throws a fit about it and ruins it for everyone. Kevin Smith says, Dan, a long-time listener, first-time caller, right? Paul Harvey, good day. So anyway, let's get back over here. Question of the week. It works for off-road for decades. Don't pay, don't play, period. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. I understand both sides of that, right? And it might come to that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I feel like if you have a motor rule, and I said this last week, if you have a motor rule and you're with a group of tracks that has this motor rule, if you do a handout, then that motor rule is kind of null and void. But I don't know. I don't know there's a way. You know what I mean? Why do we keep running by laps and still setting the mains by IFMAR? My opinion. Yep. Kevin says, now, in my opinion, now you know the rest of the story. We'll find out. Guys, I don't know. We ran IFMAR style here with laps early on. Kevin, yes, Jay does have a solid question. We ran IFMAR here by laps until Jake is the one that came on and said it, and then me and some of the Kempton crew sat down one night after the races on a Friday night, and we talked about it, and we got to thinking about it, and we understand now that it doesn't work well if you run IFMAR and laps. It's not fair to the rest. So we went time. We were talking about today at our meeting about qual points and race points. I've never ran that, and I've honestly never seen it. Oh, you can't. Oh, did you leave, Jake? Sorry. What is the ideal format? All your answers are wrong. Just curious. What's up, Rick Taylor? Yeah, there is no idea. I don't know that there is an ideal format. I would be interested in what everybody thinks. How do you guys like it ran? Do you like race points? Do you like qual points? Do you like IFMAR? What does everybody like? Post it. There's 43 of us in here. Let's go. Somebody start thumbing away on that Android. Or the BlackBerry for some of y'all. Or the flip phone. Put it on there. What I'm saying is, I've never done qual points. I've never done race points. I will learn that this winter. Just because I don't know. I mean, guys, those of you that have been here a long time, you know I just don't know. I don't care. I just say what I say. So I don't know. I've never ran that style. I've never set the computer up that way. So I've done what I know, but very willing to change. Joe Payne, what's up, Traxxas Joe? One of our sponsors here with Rogue Race Concepts. I feel like a lot of tracks don't know how to use all the features and settings available in the scoring system. 100%, Joe. I feel that is the same thing. Ryan says, I'd like to see redraw for the ones and redraw further back for the twos. Tommy says, I would like to run like Saturday night short track, race your way into the mains through heat races. So you're running race points or qual points, depending on how you look at that. I got you, Scuba. You're next. RC Underground says, time keeps the show moving, especially on small tracks. Tough to hit the line and not cause a false start. Wind them up and go on the tone works for most. Scuba says, it's just great when the system works. Then it says, first round seeding, then go into qualifying, then mains. Kevin's looking for an explanation on Ryan's redraw. I agree. I think I know where you're thinking. I'm just checking to see if I do. I do not, so that would be great. Do you remember what we raced at Jake's at the end of the season? That was a lot of fun. Yes, and we talked about that, Chuck, as becoming some of the stuff to figure that out. So I kind of like that, and that's how that is. I like that idea too, Chuck. But I don't know. I don't remember exactly where it is. They just did one seating, wasn't it? And then I don't know. Is Brogan on here or Jake from Jake's RC? Weasel says, IFMAR first round to set the second round racing sets the mains. I'd have to see if you can do that. I don't know if you can switch it in the middle. I've never tried it, Weasel, that's why. Altoff says, depends on car count for what format works best. Michael, I don't know that I agree with that because I feel like you're going to confuse people more than any other way. Like I like to set it before I even know if there's 10 people showing up. You know what I mean? I think practice needs to be shortened a little bit, and we need to get into racing a little bit faster, but we'll see what happens. Jake says fast guys are never going to complain about IFMAR. I don't know. You know what I mean? Carson says random pill draw, heats, mains. Mike says IFMAR, if the people racing understand how it works. Resort fastest 6 to 8 makes the show. When you do, Jake Howard says when you do laps without seating, it's luck of the draw. Yeah, if you do, yeah, because you don't resort that way. You stay in the same group, right? What's up, Tyler? I think it's your first time, too. IFMAR all the way. Why fix something that's not broken? Tyler, I love IFMAR. I think it's really good. I think a lot of my guys enjoy IFMAR, too. I don't know. Here's the thing. A lot of guys get into this thing of we're trying to emulate big car stuff, and that's how they want it, until something the big car does they don't like, and then we're not trying to emulate that, right? So I enjoy IFMAR. I think it resort and go. Would be after race points. Ryan's responding to the redraw. It would be after race points, I guess, to make it easy. A main redraws for spots based on their points, their point ties. Tyler's agreeing with Jake about the luck of the draw if without seating. Kevin's saying about Michael's about the depending on the format, depends on how many cars. He says, I think you have to set the format no matter the car count. I agree with that. The only thing that I'm going to do with that is I'm stealing Paul and Tom's rule of adjustments will be changed this year. No adjustments after a number. We're going to try it for at least half the year, if not the whole year, and see how it works, and we're going to go like that. Chuck Blair says we did one seating practice, seating/practice, and then race started. Yeah, it was quick. 1 minute practice for seating and then straight into qualifiers is what Andrew said. Yeah. I thought that was good too. Van Ice says, "What's up, Jason? It'd take a big change. I'd run laps for position with stacked heats Fast laps don't matter. Time doesn't really matter. Features lined up top 3 from the heats. Makes the mains 1 bump from the B. 10-car main. C laps, but inverted full field. Make the fast guys come from the back, like the full scale. Chuck says, I've been running IFMAR forever. It works most of the time. It was just fun to run something different. I agree with that, and I don't care. I just want to make laps, is what Chris says. Guys, that's just another thing. And I think that's kind of what we try to do here a lot, is try to just put it out there of what we go through a little bit. And this is all part of it. We think about this a lot. You know what I mean? Like, how do we make it better? How do we maybe make it a little faster, you know? But that's how it is, you know? If you look at PTs from Saturday night, the main lineups would have been basically the same, with IFMAR maybe 1 spot off. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if there's how is there a right way and a wrong way? I kind of like how they did it. I like how they ran a 15-lap qualifier and then turned you into heats from there. I thought that was pretty quick. Worked pretty well for a club race. Tyler says, Jason, yeah, except when you have a slower car ruin a fast car's race points score, like what happened at the Chili Bowl and every other big race through the year. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where the problem comes in, is when you get a slower guy down, and nothing against the slower guy, we all start somewhere, but if you get a slower guy in with the faster guys, A, they're probably going to be very intimidated, and B, there's a chance they're going to be intimidated enough to make a move that ends up hurting the field. Orange Crush says, I don't care about the format. It's your house. Let me know what we're doing. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's right. I mean, but, I agree and understand that, Orange, and I appreciate it. But the reality of it is, as track owners, promoters, if you care enough about the hobby and you really care about the people that are in the hobby, you try to make it the best you can, right? I don't know that there's a right way or wrong way. We asked in the group today do we all need to be on the same page with this? And the consensus was no. One guy says, sometimes I race points, sometimes I race IFMAR. I'll let you know. You know what I mean? On my flyer or the day of, driver's meeting, whatever. You'll know. Orange says, I get that. Yeah, I know you do. It's just, that's why we ask the questions. And Jake came up with this 2 weeks ago, and I had one already, so we put it off a week. But I think it's a great question. It really does set the tone. You know what I mean? Guys race differently depending on how the setup is. But in my opinion, I want going in there, I want to know what I'm doing. I think that's important. So. So there it is. I'm going to play around with some different stuff. Qual points probably. Race points maybe. And definitely I'll run some FMAR stuff. I like the idea of switching in the middle. I think you can. I'd have to look that up, Weasel, what you said. I'd like to get one in and then kick it from there. And then go to race points or qual points to race your way into, and then turn around, you race your second race would be into the main. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe play around with some stuff. The best one's going to be the first race of the year with a shit show. I'm sure we'll screw something up that day, for sure. Okay? Tyler says, if we were to mix anything up, the only thing that doesn't completely ruin a racer's night is maybe an A-main pill draw for the A-main qualifiers, but that's about the extreme as I'd go. Dustin says last night there was 20-something heats and each round was almost 3 hours and 3 minutes. Races made for a long day. Longer day than necessary. Any ideas to speed that up? Dank also says I race whatever the track does. I would only have a preference if it was my track. Right, Dank, but as I told Orange, I think it's more input. It's more information for everybody. Ryan says that's what Tony normally does, and it was fun. Yeah, I usually do a chip draw at the end of the race. But your race laps, Van Nuys says, but your racing laps in the heats and mains, so you don't have to rush to pass the slower car, right? Say you have 3 heats and 30 laps. Those 9 cars should be within a couple laps of each other. Well, there goes that. You got it, buddy? Stop letting people work on their car every 3 minutes in the races. 160 innings, we're not sure you could roll much faster than we did. Where are you talking about, Dustin? 20-something heats? Where was that at? Was that at Limestone or was that at PT's? Hang on, guys. I got to do some digging real quick. Hold, please. I think PT's runs a fast program, as fast as kind of as it goes. The no adjustment thing is a beautiful thing. PT's last night had, let's see, 3 o'clock. Almost 2 hours, 30 rounds. 2 hours and 30 rounds at PT's. 169 sure could have been running fast. Yeah, I agree. Also, a timer to get the stand ready to race. Dustin agreed, and he says that's from Limestone he was talking about. I agree with that. So here's what we did at the Fall Brawl, and I'm going to speed it up even more next year. We went to hey, get your shit together, we're racing. This year, it's going to be no adjustments with that many cars. Once you get over the 100 number, I think that's where the adjustments stop. Then you pick up that. Even if you take a minute and a half and you had, say, 36 heats, and you save a minute and a half per heat, 2 minutes per heat, we'll say easy round numbers, right? That's what, 72 minutes? And you got 2 sets of heats there, or 2 sets of heats, 72 minutes. I mean, there's your hour and some change right there. And then your mains. And I think 2 minutes is very, very short. I think you're probably 3 to 5 minutes in between on those. I didn't look at it. I didn't dig that deep. But I really think in between and marshalling. Guys, that is on a racer. If you are racing and you marshal, if you are 1 and 2, if that's how it works, then marshal. Guys, I marshaled, and I'm not bragging on myself. I'm telling you this to prove a point. I marshaled all night last night until I left. And the reason I marshaled all that is because I wanted the show to keep going. You have got to figure out that, hey, if you don't want to be there till 2 in the morning, put your shit down and go marshal. We are going to have a different setup here to help that. The other thing that we like here now that we have a system where you get on one side and off on the other like we did for the Fall Brawl, that's how we're going to do it all year. You go on one way and off the other way. You put your cars down here and you pick your cars up there. You've got to come up with a better system for that. PTs doesn't really have that. They don't have one step, but they work through it pretty good. Dana says limestone 36 heats, 27 mains. I think they switched to 3-minute races to save time. Yeah, we do 3-minute heats. That's how we do it here. 3 minutes, 30 and 50. Scuba's LOL in the old limestone. Sam says, how does everyone feel about start times? The elite place, like PTs, that knows they're going to have 200 cars starting at 3 p.m. seems like setting us up for a late night. What if they started earlier? Sam, all I can say is hang on a second. I gotta stand up a second. All right. I think if they knew they were going to have 200, they'd be earlier. I don't think they expect that for a club race. I really think that's the problem. Outdoor, you don't have a choice. We just talked about it today. If I start racing at noon here, why are we doing 2 heats? Because it's done. You know? You're wasting your time. So that's why we don't. So therefore, it pushes you later, and that's why. But I think they were thinking 100 cars, and then you guys would have been a little earlier. But I didn't think it was bad. What, midnight 1, something like that? You got out of there? That wasn't bad. We start here at 6 o'clock on a Friday night and be out here till midnight or 1 or 3, depending on who's talking. Kevin says you didn't, Marshall. You were the marshal. We just filled extra spots. Yeah, I was filling extra spots is what that was. And he thinks so too. We got out of there pretty decent time. Plus normal format would have started there. I just didn't think there was that many cars going to be there. That's why all of us go out and marshal and everything. That's why I go. Yeah, Jake's the one that got me started on that, and I commend him for that. And the good thing about Jake is if you talk to Jake about something, he's going to tell you why he does it. And I'm a why guy too. So he said, not only do I go out and marshal, he said, here's why. Because normally they're bumping or it's hard to get guys or they're short on numbers. So I just marshal. Yes, that's good. He told me why and we did it. You know what I mean? And at that point, I'm like, well, hell, if I'm here, the old lady's there, we can talk if I marshal in turn 2. And then, I don't have to be out there the whole time, but it's good. So that's why I started helping, just to keep the program moving. Ryan says, Sam, you spell Premier instead of Elite. You should have put Premier on there. Kevin says 11. We started 11 open practice. Yeah. What are you feeling attacked for? But yeah, so guys, that's good. Let's get into the topic of the week. Topic of the week. We've kind of jumped into it a little bit, and that's why I did it this way. Track setup. I knew the question of the week. Obviously, I put it out. Therefore, I thought this would be good. The question of the week is, or the topic of the week is track setup. And I'm going to talk about the tracks themselves, the dirt and dirt oval. There's a few of us that sit back a lot and talk about dirt. I know if you've been on here late nights, you might have been part of that. Every surface is different, and every surface reacts differently. Temperature change, hot, cold, the type of dirt people use, how much water you put on it, obviously. I was down at Slideways is what got me kind of thinking about this. And they did a great job of trying to get the bottom line to come in some. But it just didn't happen. The top was where it was at, and that's where it's at. I mean, some tracks, you'll get it coming in that way, and that's where it'll be. So, the idea is maybe you put some grooves in the track to help get some bite, some side bite. Not too big to where you're obviously traction rolling and hitting them, But if you can grab a little bit of side bite through the corner, it might help that. So the raking, they raked the track at the bottom trying to get some grip into it, and it worked a little bit, but it was gone by the mod mains. But it was a great effort. But sometimes you just don't get it there. The track moves, the groove moves on the track wherever you put it, on loose dirt or not high bite, right? Loose packed dirt will definitely do different than high bite. We were at Jake's same way. Jake's, you were, what was it, heat number 2 or qualifier number 2, you were up on the top. And then as you started working down, in the mains, it got down there a little bit lower. You wasn't ripping the lip as much. But that's just it. I think guys don't understand that track owners try to make it as much as we can. As much as of a dual or triple groove. Triple would be really interesting, but at least 2 grooves, you know what I mean, to where guys can race with each other. Matt says that's what makes slideways so fun. You can rip the lip instead of being a catfisher. Yeah, I think the bottom feeder deal, I like the top and I like the middle. This track of mine has changed over the years. It used to be a bottom track. It's now a half track, right? About the middle is where you get it. You're not at the top yet, but I think we're working up that way. I thought slideways was great. But also, guys, when you get a groove, slideways ended up getting one up in, what would it be, 3? Started getting a groove where everybody's sliding in there to get going into 3. PTs gets one coming out of 2 a lot. Brad's gets one going into 3 normally. We get one coming into 1 and into 3. It's just what you see, you know what I mean? I've been to those tracks enough times to kind of see a pattern in them. There's nothing wrong with that. If there's a dip, a hole, a delamination, whatever you want to call it, that's part of character of the track. Look at Jake's. After the first round, man, there was a groove in the bottom. A groove. Like you could not get to the bottom with the groove that was there. He come out, raked it in. Him, Brogan and some other guys come out and raked it all in, drove it in a little bit, and passed some holes, and it was good. It come around more and more and more. That's what we try to do. You know, every track owner is trying to give you guys at least a double line. It's easy to sit back and say, well, this track's a piece of shit. Well, it might be a little rougher than you like it, but it is what it is. Like our track, I try to make it glass smooth. It would probably have more grip if I didn't. 10 scale character for sure, but not full of holes you can put your foot in. Yeah, Aaron, there is a fine line, but here's what it is. Let me ask you this. How many times, Aaron, have you went to a track and 5 guys are out there with the body digging, going into 3, and then you get a hole? And the promoter doesn't want to make that guy mad, or the track owner doesn't want to make that guy mad, so he doesn't say anything. As a racer, as a friend or a racer, and if you know the guy whose body's digging in, you probably need to say, hey, bro, raise your body or cut it, whichever one you want to do. Because you're going to dig a hole that I'm going to have to drive around. And I really think a lot of times that's what we get into more than the track falling apart, is the fact that whenever we get out there to race, somebody has done exactly that. They have not cut the body. They have, and it's digging in somewhere. You know what I mean? That's probably one of the bigger things. If it's rubbing, if your body's rubbing here, I'm going to yell at you. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm just going to say, hey, raise that body, cut that body, do something. You're going to make a hole that everybody's going to work around. A bunch like that. It needs to be taken on the racers because they know it shouldn't be like that. Well, the thing with it, Aaron, is this also. As you're doing that, you're not faster like that, right? Raise that shit up. You're going to be faster if your body ain't rubbing. It's not helping you. Joe says, also have to have the banking to support more than one line. Nobody is taking the long way around on a flat track. Agreed, Joe. Joe's been here quite a bit. You can get up there a little bit. A flat track, like Cedar. Cedar is stupid fast, but I don't know. I haven't been out there enough, but I feel like it'd be hard to get two lines going at Cedar a lot, especially through the corners, right? But maybe not. Fourth thing should be, yeah. Fourth thing should be touching the ground, the tires. That's it. Agreed. But yeah, that's just it. You know what I mean? Like, banking makes a big difference. You know what I mean? You'd be able to you'd be able to hold that out there. Ryan says, hold on, see more. Ryan says body chop is the worst thing early in the night before the track cleans up and after they bounce off the wall 5 times, but keep practicing. It's disrespectful to everyone else. Yes. Yep. And guys, another PSA. I'm big into PSAs tonight. Here's one of them. I'm going to give you another one. The other one is this. If a racer tells you you have body chop, as Ryan calls it, or you're digging in, don't be offended by it. Go out there and fix your shit. The guy says, hey man, your body's dragging, raise it up. It's not going to get better on its own. Fix it. He's trying to keep the track as good because he understands it. Weasel says, sometimes the guys blow the loose dirt to the top between the rounds, making the top 2 loose to race on, leaving only the bottom. Weasel agreed. We have that here. You know it. But I think you can still get 2 lines at most tracks. Very bottom and middle. Even here. You're not going to probably be able to get way up top here unless we start blowing it to the pit road, which might happen. But it agreed and understood. So. But yeah. Yep. Gotta leave room for it. So that's where I'm at, guys. I think a lot of guys see a groove, a dip, a chunk out, a delamination, whatever kind of movement that is in a track, and then they think the track's junk. And the reality of it is, it's character. It's the difference between having a perfectly smooth track and not. You could be asphalt racing if that's where you want to be with that. So, you know what I mean? Asphalt oval is probably a little smoother than dirt and doesn't change as much. So, and if you have 150 to 200 cars, then there you are. You know, it's going to change. The track's going to be way different. Chuck says, yeah, it's off-road. We all do it. Ryan says, we all do it with new bodies. Make a lap, cut. Make another lap, cut more. Everyone has scissors and take them to the stand with you. Right. Yeah, guys, I mean, a bump, a rub is fine. But not a rub and a rub and a rub and a rub and a rub. Every lap is not fine. Fix it. Okay? Understood. Or find a track that you can go out and I'll give a shout out. Nick and Jeff Henderson, they used to come here a lot long before everybody else did. They would come out here because they lived down the road in Herscher, and they would come out here and drive our track just to make sure that stuff doesn't happen. The body rubs, shake the car down a little bit, and they enjoyed the track. That's what helped get more people here. But find a practice night. where the track is not perfect or not ready to be raced on, and then figure that out. With our schedule, we're only going to open one Friday a month. But guys, if you get 3 or 4 guys, 5 guys that want to come out and make a plan to come out on a night we're not open on a Friday, and you're not stepping on anybody's toes, I'll open. So you guys can do just that. Fix bodies, get some laps in, shake a car down, make some changes, do whatever you need to do. That's where I'm open to do that kind of thing. So, okay. Hang on just a second. Oh, well, maybe they found the cat. I hope so. Mama's cat's missing, and she's not in a good state of mind because of it. So, not the 2 that are in here. The IT department is safe. So that's where we're at, guys. Respect the track owners. Every track's going to be different. We all know that. We're racing on dirt. If there's an imperfection in it, drive around it or drive through it. Everybody's got to figure that out. You all are on the same track. Make sure you guys, prepare for that a little bit. Tire rules are tire rules, and as it changes, put your tire on. Change your tire. Do whatever you have to do there. I think it lost a little bit of grip at PT's last night because it got cooler. People in and out the door. The temperatures dropped outside. I think it got a little cooler, and the grip went away just a little bit, but it was still locked down. That track was good. Like I said, Paul and Tom, those guys, man, they take care of that track and do a great job. So if you guys want to go loose dirt racing, not high bite, racing in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Iowa in the winter, PT's is the place to go. Get down there, get a club race in, or get down there and get a bigger race in. I think the midget race is the next one. So they only race twice a month. Make sure you guys get down there and check out PTs. Get them done. Thanks for listening to In My Opinion. Don't forget to join us live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central on Kempton Speedway Facebook page. Catch our highlight show dropping Wednesdays on RCU Radio's YouTube, Spotify, and all major platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.